Welcome to the June quarter Beulah Investment Update. My name's Tom Elliott, Director of Beulah Capital. With me is Dr. Peter Mavromatis, Beulah's Chief Investment Officer. Safe to say the June quarter was a very volatile one for world markets. Two important things happened. First was the Brexit vote. We all know now that was the decision by the British people to leave the European Union. It was certainly not anticipated by the markets. Second was the continuation of ultra-low interest rates, and in fact, post the end of the quarter, Australian rates have fallen again to a record low of 1.5%. Peter, how did you see all this?
Well, Tom, we most certainly did anticipate that there would be more volatility during the quarter, and as a result of that, we were holding very high levels of tactical cash throughout our portfolios, and they provided a very good buffer, particularly during the time of Brexit, which saw markets sell off heavily. The response by policymakers to that was to increase liquidity through central banks across the world, and as we know, that has gone pretty much straight into equity markets, and the month of July was really quite extraordinary, with the market surging higher. Now, throughout that period, we've undertaken, of course, our annual rebalance, and during that rebalance, we've removed both Woolworths and IAG. We've done that really on their poor growth outlooks, and we've added Blackmores, and also we've added Vocus Communications, and we've done that to basically tap into the Chinese consumer in the case of Blackmores, and also Vocus Communications because it's probably the most outstanding telco in the sector at the moment.
Yeah, of course, and telco expansion has been a great theme throughout the previous couple of years because you've got the big telcos like obviously Optus and Telstra, but then you've got all these mid-tier ones. There's a lot of M&A space and a lot of M&A activity in that space at the moment, and Vocus is one of the better ones. Speaking of M&A, for those of you invested in the Takeover Target portfolio, it had a very good quarter. It was down only 1%. The market was down 3% for the quarter. But for the year, the Takeover Target portfolio was up 7%, whereas the market fell 4%. And during the quarter, some of the highlights in terms of stocks that that portfolio had invested in were Horizon, Ozforex and GrainCorp. And I guess, Peter, with the recovery in markets since July, we've seen a lot more speculation about takeovers occur again. What about some of the other portfolios?
Well, in the income portfolio, we saw actually a very strong rebound by the banks. So the banking sector, where we're overweight in the Australian equities income portfolio, did well. In the options portfolio, because of the volatility in markets, we earned quite good premium, and we didn't have to write the options terribly far out of the money. We didn't have to write them too close to the money in order to earn that premium income. And as we go through the multi-assets, really quite an extraordinary quarter once again for property. Property's done wonderfully well now, really, for more than a year. A number of our competitors, if you like, have been underweight property. Tom, we've been overweight or neutral, and it's been quite beneficial to our investors. We're going to reassess that now going forward. We think that because of the way equity markets have run in recent times, that we probably need to reduce our exposure to Australian equities, and given the strength of the Aussie dollar, increase our exposure to international equities. So that's a switch that we'll be looking to implement over the coming weeks.
Yeah, and it's worth remembering that the very low interest rates that the Reserve Bank is pursuing at the moment isn't sort of really aimed at just having cheaper mortgages or cheaper credit cards for consumers. It really is aimed at trying to get the A dollar down. The problem here is, of course, is that every major currency around the globe is all trying to get their currency down, and that's maybe a battle that in the long run we'll struggle to win. Anyway, it's an interesting time. One thing I will say is one of the reasons the bank stocks, of course, were down for a while was the threat of a Royal Commission into the Australian banking sector. That threat hasn't gone away, but I still think that Malcolm Turnbull, the recently re-elected Prime Minister, is going to do his best to resist it. All right, thank you very much for listening, and we'll look forward to your company again, same time next quarter.